Dito makatugang.
Aniway F. Manalo.
Gigi Narido.
I am Rosemary V. Oblefias.
I'm Deborah D. Ocomen.
Process strategy is an organization's approach to transforming resources into goods and services. The objective is to create a process that can produce offerings that meet customer requirements within cost and other managerial constraints. Those might include current labor resources or raw material resources. There are 4 basic strategies for categorization. First is the process focus. Second is the repetitive focus. The third is a product focus. And the final one is mass customization. One should be aware that these are broad classifications, and there are various ways they can be implemented by different organizations. Also, this classification scheme, like all classification schemes, is not perfect. And in recent decades, some organizations are blurring the line between the categories. So, where did these categories come from?
These categories come from looking at 2 attributes, volume and variety of output produced. Using only 2 dimensions allows us to draw a nice picture. Here, we have the volume on the x-axis and variety on the y-axis. Low volume, high variety are what characterize the process focus. Medium volume and medium variety is used to describe the repetitive focus. For product focus, we think of high volume and low variety. The final strategy, mass customization, attempts to provide both high volume and high variety. Notice that they also indicate a poor strategy. In this picture, it would be low volume and low variety. Basically, that is saying that the organization is not making very many products, and when they do, they all look the same. It is probably difficult to stay in this business with that type of strategy.
Let's now look at its strategy in more detail. The process focus is seen in the vast majority of global production devoted to making low volume, high variety of products in places called job shops. Such facilities are organized around specific activities and processes and use general purpose equipment and highly skilled labor to run those machines. In a factory, for example, these processes might be in the departments devoted to welding, painting, and grinding. The machines and the people that run them have a high degree of flexibility because each order is custom and product flows vary considerably. In an office, the processes might be accounts payable, sales, and payroll. In a restaurant, there might be a bar, grill, or a bakery. Another good example of process focus is in the hospital, especially in the operating rooms. Each surgery is customized to the individual patient depending on the type of surgery. The flow from the OR to the recovery process will vary substantially because each process is designed to perform a variety of activities and handle frequent changes. Consequently, they are also called intermittent processes.
The next strategy is the repetitive focus. This is the classic assembly line strategy. Pre-assembled modules are used to create the finished product. These modules may be combined in various fashions in order to create many output options. But the modules restrict us from being fully customizable, meaning the repetitive focus has less flexible than the process focus. However, With this flexible, the repetitive focus gains the efficiency of both machines and humans that are running them. The first company to utilize the repetitive focus or assembly line was the Ford Automotive Company in the early 1900s. The technique was fully commercialized by the Japanese car manufacturers like Toyota, Nissan, and Honda. Taking inspiration from Henry Ford, the McDonald's brothers came up with a speedy system that revolutionized America's fast food industry in 1955.
The third strategy is product focus. Here, facilities are organized by product. These organizations are able to produce in high volume but low variety, and they want long, continuous production runs before switching the lines over to some new product. The production lines are often staffed by less skilled labor. There is also usually fixed cost, but low variable cost, which is the reason long continuous production runs are attempted. A good example of product focus is Frito-Lay making potato chips. Very few inputs for one particular product, say regular salted chips. Once we start making the style of the chip, we want to keep making it for an extended period of time before switching over to a different style. The output variations might include changes in packaging. A noted example is filling up Coca-Cola bottles. Once we start filling them up, we want to keep doing it for an extended period of time. Suppose we decide that we should switch the line over to Diet Coke instead. The cost of switching from one product to another can be quite expensive in terms of both money and time. This is where the high fixed costs usually come into play.
Our final category for process strategy is mass customization. Here, we are trying to combine the flexibility of the process focus with the difficulty of our product focus. We want to achieve both high volume and high variety. One can think of this as trying to satisfy every customer or being all things to all people. The typical example used for mass customization is Dell computer. You order a customized computer and it arrives in a few days at your house. The most recent example of mass customization comes from the sports athletic wear industry, like Nike and Adidas, in their launching of Create Your Own Shoes. Coca-Cola also got in on the same marketing idea by promoting Share a Coke with limited edition bottles with printed names on them.
Knowing that we have 4 broad process strategies, which one do we choose for our particular process? The best solution to help us answer the question is by using data-driven decisions. In that respect, what type of data could help in making an informed and hopefully good choice? Ideally, you would like multiple pieces of information, including accurate forecasts for demand and accurate estimates for cost. If we don't have a demand forecast, we can still do an analysis. We could compare the total cost for each process. Recall that the total costs are comprised of a fixed cost and a variable cost, where the variable cost is multiplied by the number of units produced. Here, we are assuming linear cost curves, which you need to keep in mind because this may or may not reflect reality in any particular situation. Using the total cost curves, we find the points of indifference that will tell us at which demand levels we prefer a particular process. We do this analysis with what is called a crossover chart. It is important to understand these fixed costs and what those variable costs are going to be for each of the products. And then that's going to inform your decision about what kind of investment in equipment you are going to need to make.
Using an equipment and technology in a process-focused organization. Looking at and understanding what kind of available technology and equipment, as always, we want to create a competitive advantage. This can be achieved through cost orientation or customer response as to the best kind of equipment or technology is available that support the business. Several processes includes running on an autopilot, removing the need for in-the-moment decisions, escalation to management, and in some cases, human involvement altogether. Process strategy is seen throughout every department of a successful organization in sales, be it in production, operations management, customer service, and retention.
Benefits of process strategy in operations management. When it comes to operations management, an organization's focus must be on the most efficient way to produce products and delivery services. Its concern is with every step of the development from conceptualization to delivery. Can you imagine a better place to incorporate process strategy in an organization? The benefits include improved efficiency. Having a solid process strategy will help your employees complete their jobs in less than and with better results. Having processes laid out makes everything from product creation to service delivery run like clockwork.
Decreased cost. When your processes are not yet dialed in, time and materials are often wasted. Once you've got a steady process strategy for all employees to follow, the cost to produce a product or provide a service actually decreases, leaving more a profit margin. Increased output. A process strategy provides the opportunity for you to increase production to create more of whatever it is you make, spending less time on each step of service provided. As less time is needed to create a deliverable, more deliverables can be created. Consistent quality. Without a process strategy, quality is up to the whim of an individual employee and can vary greatly from one person to the next. But your customers are expecting to see the same quality every time, no matter who is creating or providing for them. Creating a no-brainer process strategy takes the guesswork and individual differences out of production.
Regardless of your industry or offering, process strategy is a way to increase your profits while making your employees and customers happier. It might be tedious and labor-intensive to devise and document your processes, but the time spent is well worth it in the long run. Keep in mind that process strategy is ongoing. You'll want to consistently reevaluate your process and determine if changes need to be made. No process is set in stone, and necessary tweaks will become evident the more you put these processes into place. But this is a sign of success. Your organization is getting better every step of the way. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening in. This is Group 4 on Process Strategy.